What's up, everyone? It's Voodoo51292, and welcome to yet another channel update. And this channel update will be for the week of Monday, January 16th through Sunday, January the 22nd of 2012. Lots of things to cover in this channel update, lots of things to kind of preview and look forward to. But before we get into all of that stuff, let's go ahead and take a look back at last week and what I did over the course of that week. And first thing to mention is that it was pretty much the worst week imaginable if you were a fan of football in the state of Louisiana, because within 5 days both of the beloved football teams down here were heartbroken and knocked out and eliminated from a potential championship. On Monday night, in the actual championship game, of which I was in attendance, LSU got beat down by the Alabama Crimson Tide. It was not pretty, so they lost. And then on Saturday, the New Orleans Saints looked like they had the game in the bag against the 49ers and managed to blow that at the end, and so they got knocked out of the playoffs. So a pretty sad, dismal week if you were a fan of football here in Louisiana, but that's what happens. There's got to be a winner, there's got to be a loser, and unfortunately both of our teams were losers this week, which is unfortunate, but as the saying goes, there's always next year. So, other than sports, what did I do as far as gaming and as far as the channel this week? Well, a couple things. The first video I put out was actually a new episode of Voodoo's Thoughts, which I haven't done in a long time, but it was actually my thoughts on the BCS title game, the College Football Championship, because I was so distraught as an LSU fan after the game and after actually having gone and being there in person and seeing that awful performance. I was so upset about it, and I had a lot of things to say, get off my chest, so I made a Voodoo's Thoughts about that. So go check it out if you're interested in football and you want to hear my perspective, my views on the game. So I did that, and then the game that I jumped back into this week was the critically acclaimed Batman Arkham City, and I managed to play a few hours of that this week. I got up to part 33 in my playthrough of Batman, and then something very special, Brandon and I teamed up and put out a video that I had kind of talked about in my last channel update that we were thinking about doing, and we finally decided let's go ahead and do it and see about the reaction. And that was the first episode, or the pilot episode, so to speak, of a new podcast style show that we would like to continue to do, called Voodoo's Brew. And it's basically, like I said, a podcast where it's not really a video per se. It's more of an audio thing, like an audio show, where he and I just kind of sat down, ran through some topics, talked about some things, and mainly, like I said, it was just a pilot episode, just to test the waters. You know, we didn't really talk about it too much before and plan and you know, structure the show. We just kind of let it flow, just to put it out there, see how people would react to it. And surprisingly, maybe I shouldn't say surprisingly, but fortunately, I should say, we've gotten a lot of positive feedback about Voodoo's Brew. People have commented on it and said that they enjoyed it. A couple of my friends, you know, in real life have told me that they listened to it and really enjoyed it. And, you know, so we like that. We like that positive feedback. And it looks like, since people do like it, it could be something that we continue on in the future doing. And believe me when I say that in the future, when we do episodes of Voodoo's Brew, it'll be more structured. I know one person said that they really liked it. It tended to ramble on a little bit, and I can see that. I can understand where at parts we were just rambling on, but like I said, we didn't really plan this out or anything. And so in the future, we will have we will talk beforehand, most likely, and plan out some topics we want to talk about, kind of structure ourselves, give us some time limits on how long we want to give each topic. And in the future, we'd like to have guests come on the show, and you know, we're already thinking about a potential guest for the next episode, and bring a guest in and have some fun doing that. And so the show will evolve. It'll become a lot better, we think, and it's something that we'd like to continue doing in 2012. and we enjoyed it when we made it. And so I can't tell you exactly when the next episode will be. It'll probably be a couple of weeks from now. We may try to do it once every 2 weeks or something, in order to let gaming news build up and just, brainstorm about some topics for a couple of weeks to get the show in order before we do it. But because of the feedback, we will be doing another episode probably in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Voodoo's Brew, I've created a new playlist for it, and you can go check out the first episode for yourself and see how you like the show. So that's what happened last week. So now we take a big step forward into this week, and I say a big step because this will actually probably be the last channel update you see from me from this room for quite some time, because on Monday I will be moving back to my apartment in Baton Rouge to begin the spring semester. And I'm in the process right now as we speak of washing clothes, getting things packed up, because Monday's actually tomorrow, and I will be moving tomorrow. So back to the grindstone, unfortunately, with school this semester. But what I'm hoping and looking forward to is, if you were with me over the course of the fall and last semester, you'll know how difficult that was for me, just with the ridiculously hard classes I was having to take, as well as a lot of personal struggles that I went through over that semester. And my hope and what it looks like so far is that this semester is going to be sort of a step back from last semester, without the foot completely on the gas. Now, keep in mind, I do have some challenging courses. I have to take Organic Chemistry 2 and an Organic Chemistry lab, as well as a genetics course. But in addition to those three, I have 2 general elective courses, an anthropology course and an astronomy course. And so really looks like the heavy hitter will probably be Organic Chemistry 2 and the lab that accompanies it. But it won't be like last semester, where I had Organic 2 and Calculus 2 both kicking my ass consistently. I think it's going to be a step back. I'm taking one more course, but keep in mind that 2 of those courses are general electives, and so I'm not really fretting about them too much. So maybe it's a good thing to get back on a schedule from the standpoint of the fact that I've been off and kind of just let the days go by. I've tended to get a little lazy with the channel and with the gameplay, and as a result I wasn't able to complete a couple of the games that I wanted to, being Gears of War 3 and Deus Ex, and I never had an opportunity to go back to Skyrim, which I've been dying to do and will be doing at some point this year. We'll be going back to Skyrim and playing more of that, continuing my playthrough, because I was really loving it and enjoying it. So maybe it's a good thing to go to class, come back, be on a schedule of, okay, when I get back I'm going to want to play some games, relax, hop on, I'll be up already, and get the gameplay out to you. So school's starting for me again this week, and the next channel update you'll see from me, or whatever video you see from me, where you see me, I will be in my apartment room. So that's the news about what's going on with me. Now let's talk about the news about gaming and the channel going into next week and beyond. Right now I have a 2-week goal, and that goal consists of this week coming up. My goal is to complete my playthrough of Batman Arkham City, and I'm going to be playing it every day that I can play it until I beat it. And of course, once I do that, I will be able to get a game review out for Batman Arkham City, and that will officially, for me, complete my playthroughs of games from 2011. And so that's my goal this week, is to beat Batman Arkham City and get a review out. Now once I do that, next week I will be completely 100% focused on putting out my year-end videos, my top 10 games of 2011. I've been fooling around with the video editing software, and I'm very close to knowing in my mind how to do everything I want to do. There's maybe like one thing that's hitching me up right now, and it's about overlaying audio tracks, because I actually need to overlay 2 audio tracks, being the voiceover work I'm doing as well as some background music. And right now I'm having a hard time figuring out how to overlay two at one time. But I feel confident I'll be able to work that bit out, and once I do, I will be able to do my year-end videos. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be time-consuming to gather all of these clips and clip them, do the film work that I need to do from my end, and put it all together. It's going to be time-consuming. So that's probably what I'll be doing, what I'll be focusing on all of next week. And if I do any gameplay, it'll be, possibly going back to Skyrim and doing some of that, or some other various things that week, because I'll be focusing on my year-end videos. And if I'm able to complete them next week, then I will finish my goal of completing the 2011 content before February and before I begin my new games for 2012, so they will not run into one another. So, speaking of 2012, when am I going to be doing my first games, my first playthroughs of 2012? That is going to be the week of February the 7th. February the 7th is the release day of a couple of games that I'm interested in playing. Of course, I will get them hopefully the next day or so because of GameFly, but those games will be The Darkness 2 and Inversion. And those two games I will be doing. I'm planning on doing them, and it's going to be pretty hardcore once I start, because for pretty much every week after that, there's at least 1 to 2 releases per week that I'm interested in doing, that I want to do, and it's going to be a lot similar to the fall when I had all those games coming out. But it doesn't look like there's going to be any games that are particularly time-consuming, games that are 20 hours long or anything like that, like there was in the fall. It looks like there's more games that are going to be between the range of 5 to 10 hours, something like that, of gameplay. And it's going to be pretty consistent, but it's okay, because it leaves me some time. It leaves me this week to do Batman, finish it up, next week to do year-end videos, and then a week after that, it's actually a dead week, if you can believe it. I actually don't have anything pressing to get done. So what I will probably do that week as far as footage is go back to Skyrim. I would like to go back into Elder Scrolls and do a lot of footage that week of Skyrim, continue my playthrough. I was doing a lot of interesting things. I was having a lot of fun with it. And probably that first week in February, I will be going back to Skyrim. And I may be doing Skyrim next week. But as far as this week is concerned, it's going to be Batman. And depending on when I finish Batman, if I finish it, say, Thursday, then once I do that, I'll immediately get to work on the year-end videos. So you may actually see year-end videos coming out before next week. I haven't exactly decided how I'm going to do it yet. I haven't decided if I'm going to release them as I finish them, or if I'm going to create all of them and release them all at one time. I think I'll probably release them as I'm finished, so that people can go on and see maybe 1 or 2 of them and get hyped and get excited for what the next one is, so that each video gets a lot of good exposure, because if I release them all at one time, each video may not get a lot of exposure. So I may release them as I complete them, and I'd like to start getting to work on them this weekend. I may be able to do that if I get down to it and complete Batman, because to be honest, this first week of school, there's not going to be too much involved. It's going to be basically just going to class and doing any homework or anything else that they give us, but there's not going to be really any tests or anything this first week. It's just kind of an orientation into the new classes and so forth. So yeah, that's what you can expect to see. Batman this week, finishing. It's my goal. Also, be sure to check out the first episode of Voodoo's Brew. It's something Brandon and I are very excited about. We're really excited about the show. And like I said, keep in mind that when you watch it, it is a more of a pilot episode. It's not a representation of how the show will be going forward. It's going to be done better. We're going to choose some topics in the future and kind of structure the show, so that it's good. It's good quality. And I will update you when we are making another episode so that you can check that out. So be watching for the conclusion of Batman, game review of Batman, and potentially, I'm not saying definitely, but potentially a couple of my year-end videos I may put out this weekend if I'm able to wrap up Batman, because that's the last thing that I'm going to be doing for 2011 before I release my top 10 games video. So, thanks guys for watching. Oh, I completely blanked on one of the biggest things, probably the biggest thing of this upcoming week. I can't believe I forgot. I don't know where my head is right now, but Tuesday is my official 1-year channel anniversary here on YouTube, and that means in a couple of days I will have been doing this gameplay thing on YouTube for an entire year, which I certainly can't believe. And I've talked a little bit about some of this on my episode of Voodoo's Brew, if you've seen it, but I will be releasing a special video on Tuesday, a special commemorative video. It'll probably be a long video, so if you're not a fan of my long videos, I apologize. But it will be a video about me talking about the year that has been, the year that I've been on YouTube, all the things I've learned about being on YouTube, about gaming, how I've enjoyed everything I've been doing, my plans going forward, just all sorts of things. I'm going to talk about all kinds of topics related to my 1-year channel anniversary. That video will be coming your way on Tuesday. So, I can't believe I blanked on that. But thank you everyone who's been a subscriber and a viewer at any point during this past year. I very much appreciate it, and I'll bet you that there are some people who have been with me since the very beginning who are still watching it. And to you, I give a special thanks. That means so much to me. And I'll be doing some special things on that day. And, you know, I appreciate the views, appreciate the subscribers, and be looking for that video to come out on Tuesday. Alright? So thank you guys, as always, for watching. I am Voodoo51292. And by the way, if you do like our episode of Voodoo's Brew, feel free to head over to Brandon's YouTube account at youtube.com/user/BrandonBuffano1. Brandon, B-R-A-N-D-O-N, Buffano, B-U-F-A-N-O-1. Head over to his YouTube channel and let him know how you enjoyed his part. Because without him, the Voodoo's Brew, or, hey, that's not bad, for short, the Brew, if we want to call it that for short, whatever you want to call it, it wouldn't be possible without him. So be sure to head over there and tell him if you enjoyed it. And alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you this week with all kinds of stuff. And until then, see you later. And yes, these are my amazing Guitar Hero pajama pants. Don't hate on me, you know you want them too.